Hello everybody. Welcome to session 4 of the Japanese class. Session 4 yokoso ne. そして始めましょう. Let's go on and get... Oh, I didn't recite this. There we go. Let's go on and get started. So, welcome in. Lurkers, I see you. Welcome in. I hope you enjoy your time here for today's Japanese lesson. Remember, this is... whatchamacallit. This is the Japanese 2 level of these lessons that I've been doing. If you've been following along since the beginning, you should be ready for these. But for those of you that are new, I do recommend you watch the YouTube videos of the previous lessons, specifically for the Japanese 1. I'm not kicking you out. You're welcome to stay and follow along if you would like as well. This is where I do my usual thing, where I say !Discord. There we go. Where you can join my Discord. Here you'll just find the usual rules and things. But make sure you agree to the rules here by reacting with Jack Love. And then on Role Selector, make sure you to access the Japanese lessons, you click on Jack Sip here at the very bottom. And here you can find the resources. The Japanese 1 resources are right here. They include chapters 1 through 6 of our notes for the Genki textbook. Excuse me. But you can also find the YouTube playlist here at the very top. We'll take you to the YouTube playlist of all sessions. Session 1 all the way to session 28. This is currently session 4 of the Japanese 2. See, I labeled this JPN01. We're currently on Japanese 2. Currently, there is no YouTube playlist yet for Japanese 2. I will be making that very shortly, especially since we are almost done with our Chapter 7 section. Wow, we're zooming by these pretty quickly. I am trying to do some more practice with you guys in regards to listening and writing. Speaking of practice, if you check on the Japanese 2 section, Japanese 2 resources, here's a list of things you should know before continuing on with Japanese 2. We've gone over these for the past, for our Japanese 1 section. Here are the 53-ish kanji we've learned. As well as the Chapter 7 notes that are available for you to view through Google Documents. There is practice there for you to use. I see some people have already made some comments here. There were 3 practices so far using teiru, describing physical characteristics. Hey Foxes, welcome in. As well as describing 2 physical traits using adjectives. Nails just painted, can't type. It's okay. Thanks for lurking. Remember, we did actually, this is one of the important things that I need you guys to remember, because remember, adjectives also have a te form. And for example, Yui-san, she has 2 adjectives describing her, that she is cute and that she is kind. Sorry, I forgot to put this. Kawaii. And then for kind, yasashi. And then using te form, we can put these into one sentence. Such as, Yui-san ga kawaikute yasashii desu. Or, Yui-san ga yasashikute kawaii desu. Did you poop the keys with your snoot? That'd be quite a feat, Foxes. You did? Oh, I'm like, it's like... Alright, そして今日のレッスンは counting people and verb stem plus に行くのことです。So let's go on and start with today's date. 今日は what was that word you use, Kizuneko-san? Like 今日は何年、何月、何日、何曜日ですか？何年限か？何年限かですか? Was that what you said? Also, I'm adjusting levels of the music, so please let me... 何月日 Okay. 今日の年月日は何ですか? What is today's date? やっぱり月曜日だよね. I'm actually impressed with myself. Like, I'm in summer break, and normally I would have completely forgotten the date by now, or what day of the week it is, but I'm doing well. I know it's a Monday. Since we have a smaller crowd today, so I'll go on and get started. 今日は2021年. Japanese. そして7月ですね。7月、ごめん。7月? 今日は Oh, I know why some people are hesitant, because it's the first 10 days. Who remembers? What is the 5th? In Japanese, how do we say the 5th day of the year? The 5th day of the month. Hi, 5日ですよ。5日。そして、5日。And そして今日は何曜日ですか? It's 水曜日じゃありません。今日は何曜日ですね。ですか? Fifth day of the year, 1月5日。いたけど。間違った。今日はやっぱり、月曜日ですよ。今日は月曜日です。月曜日。And I'm using all the kanji because it's kanji that we've learned. So for quick review, 早く復習しましょう. Let's quickly review. So we talked about te form with adjectives, as well as describing people. When you describe the physical characteristics, we've been using this frame. Basically, instead of saying like, Foxes-san no ha wa chisai desu, Foxes-san no hana wa chisai desu, you have to use ga, like Foxes-san no hana ga chisai desu. You have to use that emphasis with particle ga when describing physical, or even actually just describing people in general, or describing how something is, their traits. So we use this image talking about the eyes being big or small, the mouth being big or small, and so forth. And then we talked about te form with our adjectives. Now, e adjectives, we remove that final e and replace it with kute. So like chisai will turn to chisakute. With the exception being for E, which is good. E will change to yokute instead. There's some adjectives that have a hidden E in them, like atama ga ii, you say atama ga yokute, or kakkoi would be kakkoyokute, kind of thing. Whereas non-adjectives, as well as nouns plus des, are very simple. You just replace that final na with de, or replace des with just de as well. Something I mentioned, you may use te form to combine the adjectives, but remember your final adjective will also declare the tense of a sentence. So we could say like, neko ga shinsetsu de chisakute kawaikute hayai desu. The cat is kind, small, and cute. But if we change that last adjective, it changes the tense. So the cat was kind, small, cute, and fast. But now it's probably dead or something. So, neko ga shinsetsu de chisakute kawaikute hayakatta desu. It was all those things. Konban wa Asanonix-kun. Yokoso. And don't forget, we do have that practice in the Japanese 2 section of Discord, should you want to do those. Are you the cat? I am not the cat. I am still alive. Mou ikiteiru yo. So today I'm gonna do the easy part first, which is counting people. And we kind of have done this already. Fox is gifting a tier 1 sub to Asanonix. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. Asanonix, I hope you enjoy those tiger emotes. I've learned that there are now follower emotes that I can add to my channel, so I should probably start putting them in or making them. So counting people in Japanese. So just like any other counter, there exists a way to count people in Japanese. The rule is generally simple, except for the first 2 counters. So, like I said, this is a very simple one. So what's our first, how do we count people? What is our counter that we use? I'm gonna censor these. So we obviously have our number, and yep, and then this one. But how is it pronounced in this case? Because we've learned this kanji as hito. We've also learned it as jin. And it's still the same kanji, but in this case, what is it? This song's a bit louder than I thought it would be. It's the same kanji, but how do we read this instead when we are counting people? It's, if you recall, it's not hito, it's not jin. The Foxes has got the good start. Hitori, futari, sannin. In fact, the answer is right there. In this case, the counter is nin. Or, I'll put this in the Romanji. Nin. So if there's a number and this kanji, the reading for it is going to be nin. If it's a country, it's probably going to be jin. If it's by itself, more than likely it's going to be hito. So this is our counter. Sorry, I thought I heard something behind me. And I'm going to highlight this because this is our counter. So when counting people, follow this order. Hold on, my dog is like squeaking. I think she got into like some doggy REM sleep and was like talking in her sleep. Alright, so this is basically going to be the order when counting in Japanese, and it's pretty simple. I'm only going to go up to 5. So, and Foxes has already put this in the chat, but when we're talking about one person or 2 people, 1 person, 2 people, these are the special ones because they have they have a different way of saying these, and I'm gonna highlight these in green. I'm gonna make center all these up. So for one person, it's going to be hitori. Hitori. For two people, futari. Three people, four people, five people. Now, Fox has put it in chat. So for this one, it's going to be sannin. If you recall, in Naruto, when they were whenever they mentioned Jiraiya or Tsunade or even Orochimaru, they always called them the legendary sannin. If you directly translated that into English, you're just saying the legendary three people. That's not as cool sounding now, is it? The legendary three people. So I think that's why they kept it like, oh, the legendary sannin. Although literally, that's what it means. It just means three people. In which case, what? But that's basically what it means. Like the legendary three people. It's like, oh, if knowing this now, it's kind of boring. Sannin. What would four people be? For this case, use yon. Use yon. What would if there were four people, what would that be? Well, obviously Foxes with the kanji. The whiskey sippy. Hai, 4人ですよ。4人か4人。やっぱり4人ですね。So 4人, and then 5 people will be, and this is basically numbers review at this point. はい、5人です。Yeah, I was thinking it was yonin also, but it's correct. Gonin. Yonin. But anyway, gonin. There we go. I'm actually going to stop here because at this point, from numbers 3 and so forth, the rule is going to basically be the same. That includes 11, 11 nin, 12 nin, I believe. I don't believe you say 10 hitori, 10 futari. It doesn't work that way. So basically, this is how you count people in Japanese. So if I were to say, or practice, here, practice, 1. このクラスは I mean, this is pretty simple. What would this be in English? このクラスは14人学生がいます。このクラスは14人学生がいます。In English, what would this mean? このクラスは14人学生がいます。Or? このクラスは14人学生がいます。There you go, 14. See, there are 14 people in this class. Very good. Simple as that. Technically, for a special, do you want to highlight? I mean, I guess I could, since it's following its own. 4 is just being 4, basically. So I'll go and do that. It follows the rule though, where you just add nin, but instead of yon, it's just yo. that's actually just gonna be it for in regards to counting people. It's really not that difficult. Let's do practice number 2. Kazuoku. We haven't learned the kanji to this one yet, though. So I'm just gonna leave it as Kazuoku. Kazuoku is one of our new vocabulary words. I'm gonna be a little formal. Watashi no Kazoku. Kazoku. Oh my god. We haven't learned that kanji? Too much kanji. Ah, I should have. Alright, so this was. I'm using 2 sentences for this one. Watashi no kazoku wa 5 人がいます。父と母とお兄さんと妹と私です。What does this sentence mean in English? More kanji, hi. I'm very hesitant of using new kanji, specifically because we haven't learned them. And I apologize for my new members. Let me go on and do this, especially for students that are not yet too comfortable with the hiragana, katakana, and kanji. There's that. And then for this one, what does this mean? There we go. Kazoku is one of our new vocabulary words. Kazoku. What does kazoku mean? Kazoku. Watashi no kazoku wa 5 人がいます。If you read the sentence, you could probably get a hint as to what kazoku is. Watashi no kazoku wa 5 人がいます。父と母とお兄さんと妹と私です。In fact, not exactly siblings. In fact, if you read the second sentence, you'll probably understand what this word means. We're gonna. This is actually a skill we learned when reading English called context clues. Watashi no kazoku wa 5 人がいます。父と母とお兄さんと妹と私です。My family. There you go. Kazoku means family. 父と母とお兄さんと妹と私です。Yes, thanks for specifying, because in Japanese they do specify the if it's an older or younger sibling. So, my family has 5 people. They are my father, my mother, my older brother, my younger sister, and myself. Very good! So, let me go to the first practice. This is basically how we're going to be using counting people, because one of the goals is for this lesson was a family photo. If I go all the way to the top, actually. The theme is family picture, and using these vocabulary words and these grammar is to basically choose a family picture of yourself and describe it to someone. I think you can. I think Shichi needs more appropriate though. So sentence 1. このクラスは14人学生がいます。 このクラスは14人学生がいます。And then our second example. 私の家族は5人がいます。父と母とお兄さんと妹と私です。Again, 私の家族は5人がいます。父と母とお兄さんと妹と私です。But again, that's basically how we will be using the numbers. Let's go on to our next grammar point, which is, how do I describe this? And this is describing the reason for going somewhere. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Describing the reason for going somewhere. And this is basically going to be using Verb Stem plus ni iku. Now, we talked about many forms in Japanese, and I want to go over this first. Forms of Japanese. And I'm actually, my go-to Japanese verb has always been taberu, but for this case, I'm going to use nomu instead. In fact, no. Let me use one of our new verbs for this chapter. Let's see. Let's use... I'm gonna use utao to sing. Utao to sing. So let's review using utao. Futoru? No, I can't say like I'm going to go eat. I'm going to get fat to eat or something. It's kind of weird. So I'm gonna use utao instead. And this is where I'm going to need many tables. So here we'll put the form and then the conjugation. So our first one we're going to do is dictionary. Sometimes called short form. So basically this would just be utau. Then we're gonna have, this is called many things. Some people will call this long form. It could also be called mas form or neutral form because it's pretty new. It's just kind of there, but utao will turn into utaimasu. Let's see. 私はkazu. Oh my god, you're eating a table. So we learn, and this is also mas form. Mas form contains like the present positive, negative, and so forth. Then we have te form. And what is te form of utau? What is te form of utau? はい、歌って。歌って. And then lastly, we're now going to have stem form. What is, if you know it, what is the stem for utau? Nope. A good guess. Very good guess. And this is the reason why I use this verb, because this actually shows how this works better than using a ru verb. Hai, utai. And this is the one we're going to be focusing on for today's lesson. So the stem form, or utai, for utau. So the next thing is, how do you find the stem form? This is actually really simple once you know how to do this. So I'll give you guys the steps. First, look at the mas form of the verb. So in this example, we have utau, so utaimasu. And our second step, remove mas. And that will give you utai or utai. And that's basic, and that will be your stem form. This will give you the verb stem. So if I highlight mas here, you'll see that there's a stem. And that's how you get the stem form of a verb. So real quick practice. What are the stems for these verbs? If I can actually type correctly. Asanonix, thank you for gifting Foxes a tier 1 sub. Asanonix, I hope you enjoy those tiger emotes. Alright, so for practice, what are the verb stems? So I'm gonna give you the verbs. Our first one, taberu, nomu, kaeru. What else? We've learned shopping already, yeah, to buy, so kau and oyogu, or to swim. What are the stems for these verbs? We haven't learned the verb for these, the kanji for these two. So taberu will be tabe. Nomu will be what? Nomi, that is correct. What about kaeru? This is kind of a weird one to use with this tense, but still. Yep, kaeri. Au will be kai. Oyogu will be oyogi. Any questions on how to get the stem form for verbs? I think these three, well, basically it's really just two, but these three steps are pretty simple if you know how to conjugate into mas form, to long form, mas form, or neutral form. We will be using dictionary or short form very soon. I think it's actually next. Let me double check if that's a chapter 8 thing. Yes, the next chapter is actually going to be short form. Why do these real and fake ru verbs exist? They just do. Real quick, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick because I actually had a lot to drink, so I'll be right back real quick, guys. Okay, I'm back. I never remember which is which, Ichidan or Godan. When I see that in G-Show, I have to type them out and see which it says. It gets to the point where like you need the kanji. Without the kanji, it's like ugh. Which one? We could check for Kaeru real quick if Jack doesn't know. Like Ichidan Godan? That one? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, you mean like the fake root? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I've actually just been told it's just ru or oo. And then use the words real or fake. Like even in Japanese class they use that, which was kind of awkward. So using the verb stem, we can now indicate a reason we or someone is going someplace. So for example, let's say I want to say Mary is going to the store to buy fruit. I'm gonna change store to supermarket. I'm trying to use words that we have. I guess that would make sense. Ichidan is a ru and a godan is an u. So let's try to build this sentence now. We're gonna start with Mary-san. Mary-san wa. Where is she going? Where is Mary going in this sentence? Mary-san wa to the supermarkets. Hi, super. Oh my gosh. Super ni. Yes, because we're going someplace. There's direction. We're gonna use particle ni. Super ni. And this is where we're going to use the verb stem. What is she going to do? Why are we going to the supermarket? What's she trying to do? What are we trying to do at the supermarket? Once we're there, what does Mary want to do? She wants to what? She wants to buy fruit. What is fruit in Japanese, by the way? What is fruit in Japanese? Kudamono. So we're gonna say Mary-san wa super ni. Actually, I'm thinking about this. I may need Kitsu for this one. No, it's correct. Atashi wa kudamono desu. Kitsuneko is a fruit. やっぱり皆さんこの授業でこのクラスはフルーツ果物ですかね。Anyway、メイリーさんはスーパーに果物を and this is where we're going to use our verb stem for to buy. What is our verb stem for to buy? 果物を帰ります。帰る means to return. We're returning the fruit. Please don't return fruit to the store, by the way. Different return meaning though. 果物をメリーさんはスーパーに果物を What's our verb to buy? Because we're now going to start using the verb stem. 買いに行きます。So 買い. We haven't learned the kanji for 買い just yet. 買いに行きます. But we did learn the kanji for this one. So 買いに行きます. So here is where we're using our verb stem with ni iku to describe the reason someone or something is going someplace. Mary is going to the supermarket so that she can buy fruit. That's why she's going. She's going to buy fruit. Aw, that's okay, Jesse. Thanks for hopping by, though. So for this one. Mary-san wa super ni kuramono o kai ni ikimasu. And of course, you can change the tense to this as well. If we change the ikimasu ikimashita, it would change Mary went to the store to buy fruit. And then, of course, let's try another example. Thank you, autocorrect. I'm going to the restaurant to eat sushi with friends. How would we make this sentence? 難しいですよ. In fact, here, let me highlight the kai ni because this is where we're using this grammar point. Okay, I'm going to the restaurant to eat sushi with friends. Let's start with talking about ourselves. Where are we going in the first part of the sentence? Not exactly. Because the first part of the sentence, we're talking about ourselves. We can do it that way. So we could say 私は友達とレストランに寿司を食べ for our stem 食べに行きます。That works. 私は友達とレストランに寿司を食べに行きます。I'm going to the restaurant to eat sushi with friends. Either way works. This is a very flexible sentence. I would have started with just myself. 私はHold on, let me do this in here, kanji. 私はレストランに友達と寿司 Oh my god 寿司を食べに行きます。Like, there are many ways that you could have said this. 私はレストランに友達と寿司を食べに行きます。But the thing is that they all end with the same thing. They are total opposite ends in English. You could see it as like, what do you do first? And then why are you doing it? Kind of thing. Like, where are you going? I'm going here. Why am I going here? This is the reason why I'm going there. Both actually do work. But the important thing is we still end with tabe ni ikimasu. DJ, thank you for the hydrate. I'll do that in a moment. Despite the order. Oh, I didn't use the kanji for tabe. We're still using this, tabe ni ikimasu. The verb stem plus ni iku. 私はレストランに友達と寿司を食べに行きます。Oh yeah, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. 水。はい、水だった。It was, 水を飲んだ。I drank water. This actually went by faster than I thought it was going to. Let's do some practice now. I gave you 2 examples. Let's try practice. Oh. Practice. Or 練習. So try to make this sentence into Japanese. Let's see. This was actually kind of tricky. Let's see if you guys can do it. 練習しましょう。練習 Practice. 練習 My friend went to the coffee shop to buy a cup. My friend went to the coffee shop to buy a cup. Pay attention to the tense in this sentence because I did change it. Oh, okay. 練習 There we go. First of all, what is coffee shop in Japanese? What is a coffee shop? In fact, because I'm using let's consider this a Western style coffee shop. Which word would we use for this? Hey, cafe. So we just use cafe. What is cup? This is actually another one that you'll just use in katakana. What is cup? Hey, just koppu. Is it kappu or is it koppu? I think it's koppu. Or cup. Koppu. Koppu. It's one of those weird things that turns from cup, like kappu or koppu. I'm gonna look it up because it also sounds like cop. The other word for coffee shop would be kissaten. Kissaten. It is ka. It is ka. Okay, good. So my friend went to the coffee shop to buy a cup. Tomodachi wa kissaten ni kappu o kai ni ikimashita. Hai, that would be correct. So we could say watashi no, but you don't necessarily need to. So tomodachi, we don't know the kanji yet. Tomodachi wa cafe ni kappu o kai ni ikimashita. Since we're using past tense. I know, it's so weird without the kanji. But we haven't learned it yet, and I really don't want to use it until I've taught it to you guys. So, tomodachi wa cafe ni kappu o kai ni ikimashita. You wanted to use the other one to help you remember. That's actually a good way of trying to do it. I would rather read a string of never-ending hiragana than romaji. Oh, that is correct. Is it romaji? Romaji. I mean, I agree. Because like if I see it starts looking funky with all these. So for this sentence, watashi, we could say watashi no for my friend. Usually for best friend, you could say yujin. Anyway, 友達はカフェにカップを買いに行きました。友達はカフェにカップを買いに行きました。友達はカフェにカップを買いに行きました。Yujin, はい、Yujin. It even uses the first kanji for friend, tomodachi. But this is usually for like your close friends. Let's try this one. Foxy-san is going to Japan to study Japanese. Oh, you want me to read it one more time or to do another example? So Foxy-san is going to Japan to study Japanese. How would we build this sentence? Using foxes. And you can, I'm just putting your name in Romanji for now. Foxy-san, how would we continue this? Foxy-san wa Nihon ni one second, guys. So koppu is more archaic. I like that word. Okay. So we have Foxy-san wa Nihon ni and then you put Foxy-san wa Nihon e Nihongo benkyou shi ni itteimasu. Not itteimasu in this case. And I'll have to explain that kind of a bit. So Foxy-san wa Nihon ni Nihongo, and we can use the kanji for this because we learned it this chapter. Nihongo o benkyou shi ni ikimasu. You use itteimasu, and this itteimasu, kitteimasu, they're very strange. The teiru form normally, in fact, I'll go back to the notes at the very beginning. There were three ways that we use teiru in Japanese. The first one was verbs that are some activities that are lasting that are currently happening. This is our present progressive in English. Verbs that describe changes, or verbs that describe continuous states. We did not touch upon part 3 on this chapter. Iku and kuru basically are used for the part 3 continuous states. If you were saying Foxy-san wa Nihongo o benkyou shi ni itteimasu, it means you're already in Japan studying. That's what it means if you use itemasu. It means you are currently in Japan studying at that point. You are there. You exist there at that point. It doesn't mean you're going to. It just means you're there. And that's where it's one of those verbs that uses teru very differently from the others. Like actively on the plane, you could say like in that case in Japanese you say like I am riding the plane kind of thing. But since we are using future tense, and technically there is no future tense in Japanese, you just use regular long form for it. Foxy-san is going to Japan to study Japanese. If I said Foxy-san is in Japan studying Japanese, then yes. We haven't learned the kanji for bank. I actually did not know that Google Translate, Google Docs would do this, but this is kind of nice. I actually really like this. But since we have not learned the kanji yet, I'm not going to use it. Let's do one final one. Oh, hold on, sorry. I thought I heard my cat meow. But just like before, we're using the ni ikimasu for these. Actually, this whole thing is the verb. Like, benkyo is one I use so much in kanji. I hate seeing it in hiragana. And then our final practice for today before we go on to the next thing, or maybe even to rate out at that point. Let's see, how should I do this one? Yeah, it's exactly the same for me. It's actually a very difficult kanji, but after seeing it so much, it's... I kind of like it. I may be going back for a few chapters for different verbs. I'm trying to elaborate on the verbs some more. Okay, I got one. Alright, there we go. My English. Yeah, kyou, like suyoi for strong. It literally means when you do a benkyo, to put strong effort. When you do something and put strong effort into it, you are studying. Alright, for this one, Mary is going to a friend's house to borrow a textbook. I want to see if you remember the verb to borrow, because that was a chapter 6 one, for those of you that were with us. Let's see. So we're gonna start with Meari-san, which is kind of weird because we say Mary, but in Japanese Meari. Sorry. Meari-san wa. First of all, what is to borrow in Japanese? What is to borrow? No. That's more like toru is to take. Like to take a picture or to take a test. What is to borrow? Kariru. Kariru. Now, here's the question. Is it a ru verb or is it an u verb? I'm going to my friend's house to steal her stuff. Yes, it is a Ru verb. Howdy do's Ru. To help you guys. What is textbook? What is textbook? Yeah, it's, you hear Meri-san, but for some reason, for the name, it's Meari, or Mary, Mary, Meari, Meari-san. Mary-san. I don't know how that works. Hon would be normal book, but we're being specific this time. What is textbook? What is a textbook? I'm gonna double check that we learned this one. I believe we did. Yes, we did. It's chapter 6 again. Did anybody find textbook? I got it for you guys then. Textbook, kyokasho. Kyokasho. I need to remember. Kyokasho. No. Kyokasho? I think that's correct. Kyokasho. Kyokasho. See, this is another example where the kanji is more helpful. But textbook, kyokasho. So Mary is going to a friend's house to borrow a textbook. How would we write this sentence? Kyokasho. Hi, Meari. Meari. If you say it like, if you say it many times, you kind of understand. Meari. 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 Meari-san wa. So now that we know our words, how would we build this? Mary is going to a friend's house to borrow a textbook. Start with, where are we going? Then finish with, why are we going there? So I've highlighted the first part. Where are we going first? So we got that. I see both of you guys are. Meri-san wa tomodachi no ie ni. So we have that. Meri-san wa tomodachi no ie ni. Now what are we doing there? We're going there to borrow a textbook. Kyokasho. So Meari-san wa tomodachi no ie ni kyokasho o. Close, close, close. Watch, careful with the verb though. Remember, our verb is kariru, and it is a ru verb. If you're having trouble, remember to find the stem. Look at the mas form of the verb. Kariru turns to karimasu. Remove that mas, and that will give you your stem. Kari ni ikimasu. Hai, that is it. That is correct. Kari ni ikimasu. Mary-san wa tomodachi no ie ni kyokasho o kari ni ikimasu. Here, kariru. So for this sentence, I'll say it a few times so you guys can try to repeat it on your own. Mary-san wa tomodachi no ie ni kyokasho o kari ni ikimasu. Mary-san wa tomodachi no ie ni kyokasho o kari ni ikimasu. Hai, foxes. Mary-san wa tomodachi no ie ni kyokasho o kari ni ikimasu. And then a little bit more faster. Mary-san wa tomodachi no ie ni kyokasho o kari ni ikimasu. And again, we're using the verb stem plus ni iku for this. And that will conclude the grammar that we will learn for chapter 7. This is the end of chapter 7. Yay! Congrats, guys! We've made it through chapter 7's grammar. I am going to extend the lesson a bit more, though. So the next time we meet on Wednesday, we're actually going to try a listening and a reading practice using what we've learned from chapter 7. In fact, I'm going to go to YouTube real quick and see if I can find it. Hi, arimasu yo. So like, for example, oh, I'm trying to stop the music. Well, listen to this, for example, because there are two dialogues. I'll play this shortly real quick. Let me stop the comfy lofi so that you can hear the example. And then, like I said, I'm only going to play this once. My windows keep getting...
これはスーさんの家族の写真ですか？ええ。スーさんはどれですか？これです。高校の時。
They're obviously reading the script, by the way.
可愛いですね。これは父です。アメリカの会社に勤めています。背が高くてハンサムですね。
I like saying Lofi.
お姉さんですか？ええ、姉は結婚しています。今、ソウルに住んでいます。子供が一人います。3歳です。そうですか。あ、猫がいますね。でもちょっと太っていますね。ええ、よく食べますから。
So that's an example of what we're going to listen and try to translate next class. There's also a reading, and it's actually kind of long. I will be putting the reading here if you guys would like to head start with it. Yeah, I like saying lofi instead of lo-fi. But that's going to be it for today's lesson, guys. Thank you guys for coming in. I hope you've learned how to use this. I think our raid message should be this. Loaf is correct. Kitsu-san, have you started? Let me check. Have you started yours already? Has these lessons started? Just about to hit the button? Okay, so while she's setting up, let's try this. Let's try to build this sentence. So we may have to use some romaji for this. So we're gonna say, we have come to Kitsu Neko's stream to study Japanese. how would we say this sentence? And I'm actually going to start this with Kizuneko-san no stream ni. How do we finish this? Kizuneko-san no stream ni. What are we going to do in this stream? Hi, でも何を勉強しに行きますか？何を勉強しに行きますか？はい、日本語。そして、日本語を勉強しに行きます。So this will be our raid message for today. So here's our raid message, and then add whatever heart emotes that you guys have to this, like this. So Kizuneko-san no stream ni nihongo o benkyou shi ni ikimasu. And this will be our raid message. Thank you guys for coming in again. Remember, our next Japanese lesson will be on Wednesday. I will probably try to play more Scarlet Nexus in between that as well. So I hope you guys do come in. There we go. Thanks again. I'll catch everybody later. Bye-bye.